So tell me again about the hash brown.
Okay, what you want to know?
McDonald's has got to have the best hash browns hands down. However, there's a lot more to this universally loved food than meets the eye. Not only has this piece of fried potato gotten itself into some wacky situations, but there are also some little-known ways of eating them that will change life as you know it. So here are 10 untold truths about McDonald's hash browns.
You want to get some McDonald's?
The hash browns aren't gluten-free.
I'm on this cleanse.
Whether you have celiac disease, gluten intolerance, or for whatever reason simply choose not to consume gluten, we have some bad news for you. McDonald's hash browns do not fit your dietary restrictions. This is an easy mistake to make because potatoes are, in fact, gluten-free. Other than that, you would expect there to just be oil and some seasonings, which would all fit the bill. There is one sneaky ingredient that stops this food item from being safe for those with gluten intolerances to consume. Look at the ingredients! McDonald's chooses to add a natural beef flavor seasoning to their hash browns, which unfortunately does contain gluten since it is made from wheat and milk derivatives. So it's a bit of a trade-off. If you have a gluten problem, it's important that you avoid cross-contamination, meaning that even gluten-free foods can be dangerous if they're prepared with the same kitchen tools as food containing gluten. Hash browns don't fit that criteria either. Until McD's stops adding the beef flavor seasoning, they still don't pass as gluten-free. McDonald's is pretty transparent about this sort of thing, but if you don't think to ask, it can be easy to be misled. It is worth noting that in some countries, such as Canada, the beef seasoning is not used, and therefore these McDonald's hash browns are indeed gluten-free. McDonald's hash browns aren't vegetarian either. Just like you'd think they would be gluten-free, you would think that McDonald's hash browns would be vegetarian as well, because potatoes. And just like with the gluten-free assumption, you would be wrong. McDonald's hash browns have never been a vegetarian-friendly product. They were originally fried in a mixture of vegetable oil and beef tallow. They stopped using the latter ingredient after a push for healthier hash browns, but since they didn't want to sacrifice the product's iconic taste, they decided to add natural beef flavoring instead. This is actually true of their French fries as well.
The French fries are pretty good.
After McDonald's stopped using beef tallow to cook their fries, they advertised them as being cooked in 100% vegetable oil. Somehow, they forgot to mention that they were replacing beef tallow with beef flavoring. This led people to assume that the fries were vegetarian, and when the truth came out, it resulted in several lawsuits from Hindu and vegetarian groups. Many countries have stopped using the beef flavoring altogether, but the USA isn't one of them. This is definitely an issue since McDonald's doesn't have very many vegetarian options on its menu. The fast food chain has come out with a plant-based burger, but it's only available at a few locations. As a vegetarian or vegan, you might think you can at least enjoy some fries or a hash brown when your non-vegetarian friend suggests a McD's run, but unfortunately, that isn't an option. The hash brown ingredients.
Potato! Way to go, buddy!
These days, people tend to be pretty wary around McDonald's food. And can you really blame them after that whole pink slime scandal? Thanks to that, it can be difficult to eat anything off the McD's menu without spiraling down the rabbit hole of the possible ingredients that it just might contain. Fear not, we're not here to ruin hash browns for you. Quite the opposite, in fact. The hash brown ingredients are pretty much limited to those you'd expect any fried potato to contain.
Yep, French fries.
There's also corn flour, salt, black pepper, and sure, maybe a couple of things we can't quite pronounce. They're still not the healthiest thing out there, since they're, fast food and a fried potato. So hopefully it gives you peace of mind to know that you don't have to worry about pink slime or the likes contaminating your beloved hash browns. All ingredients are listed on the McDonald's website. It can be good to know, especially if you have any dietary restrictions. The birth of the McDonald's hash brown.
That's the baby.
It's hard to imagine McDonald's without hash browns. However, there was such a time. After its opening in the 1950s, McDonald's strictly sold lunch and dinner food items. There was no Egg McMuffin, no hotcakes, and worst of all, no hash browns. This continued for the remainder of the decade and throughout the 60s, until 1970 when McDonald's got the okay to start incorporating breakfast foods into their menu.
Speed, that's the name of the game.
In 1977, 1997, they pulled out all the stops and introduced a full breakfast menu, the precursor to the one we all now know and love. One of the newly added food items was, you guessed it, the hash brown. A few years ago, McDonald's realized that we shouldn't be discriminating against breakfast foods based on the time of day and blessed us with all-day breakfast. This was a game changer because it meant that hash browns were now available to satisfy your cravings at any hour of the day. 200 McD's hash browns still won't cure a hangover.
Give me 700 Krusty Burgers!
Greasy food is a time-honored hangover cure. But does it really do anything to make you feel better? Probably not. Do we love the excuse to fill up on some of our favorite fried foods? Absolutely. However, some people take this practice to the extreme. At nearly 5 o'clock in the morning, a young man, who is still clearly very inebriated after a night of drinking, pulled in at a McDonald's drive-thru in Sydney, Australia.
Not a lot of crocs out here, huh?
He first tried to order a serving of chicken nuggets. Unfortunately, McNuggets aren't available at all hours. In an epic overreaction, he got incredibly angry and ordered no more than 200 hash browns. He then proceeded to circle the parking lot as he waited for his order to be prepared, which obviously took quite some time. Finally, he picked up his 200 hash browns and hit the road. Apparently, the hash browns didn't sober him up as effectively as he hoped they would. When he was picked up by the cops, a breathalyzer test put him at 3 times the legal blood alcohol limit. Before you say there's no such thing as too many hash browns, remember to think about this story. Do-it-yourself hash brown recipes.
I'm really hungry.
You know a food item is famous when people start pinning copycat recipes on their Pinterest boards. If you ever find yourself craving McDonald's hash browns but are too lazy to change out of your pajamas to go get them, you can try your hand at whipping some up from scratch. You'd be surprised to see just how many DIY recipes are floating around on the internet. Do a quick Google search and choose whichever one strikes your fancy.
They used to call me hash brown.
You won't need a deep fryer to get that perfect crispy outside and soft, delicious inside. You can more or less achieve the desired texture with just a frying pan and some oil. The best part about making hash browns yourself is that you can control the amounts of oil and salt you use, which is particularly useful if you're trying to live a healthier lifestyle. Competing with French fries.
We do not serve hash brownies here.
Hash browns and French fries are two sides of the same coin. Sure, they're both forms of deep-fried potatoes, but they somehow manage to have very little in common. Some people who love hash browns hate fries, and vice versa. In fact, it's opinions like those that fueled this competition, which sent McDonald's scrambling for a couple of years. The thing is, hash browns and French fries are both cooked in the same deep fryers, meaning that they're competing for limited real estate.
Stay off the west side.
French fries are the most ordered item on the McDonald's menu, so they're being cooked pretty constantly. Hash browns infringing on their turf turned out to be more of a problem than was anticipated. When all-day breakfast was first introduced, McDonald's didn't have the resources to keep up with the never-ending demand for fries, while also trying to fill the orders for the people who decided to eat their breakfast at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But now they've pretty much got their rhythm down. Level up your sandwiches.
I wanted to treat you to sandwiches from Sandwichies.
McDonald's breakfast sandwiches are pretty amazing on their own. But do you know what the key to greatness is? Throwing a hash brown into the mix. It adds a bit of greasiness, a bit of crispiness, and a whole lot of flavor. Order your favorite McDonald's breakfast sandwich and pair it with a delicious hash brown for an out-of-this-world experience.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Whoever thought of this combination is a bit of a genius, and McDonald's should definitely take a leaf out of their book. The franchise really needs to step up their game and incorporate a sandwich with a hash brown as one of the fillings to their breakfast menu. Odds are it would be a massive moneymaker. All in all, the hash brown and breakfast sandwich combination is life-changing and the ultimate meal for any breakfast food fans out there. Rare, medium, or well done.
I know this steak doesn't exist.
Typically, it's only steak that gets ordered as well done. However, McDonald's hash browns can be ordered well done as well. And unlike steak, a well done hash brown is actually good. All it takes is a couple of extra minutes in the deep fryer. The resulting product is extra crunchy and extra salty. It's a win-win situation. By looking at them, you can barely see a difference between a well done hash brown and one that has been cooked regularly. However, once you bite into it, the difference will be made clear. Fair warning. warning. Once you go well done, there's no turning back.
Ignorance is bliss.
And fear not, the inside is still as soft and flavorful as ever. If anything, it's just slightly saltier. Don't deprive yourself of well-done hash browns any longer. Don't eat and drive.
Shake and bake.
We all know drinking and driving is bad. We all know texting and driving is bad. And so, technically, we should probably all realize that eating and driving isn't all that great either. Yet, many of us still do it all the same. It's not something you get in trouble for, right? Well, according to this Connecticut man, Jason Steiber, who was enjoying his McDonald's hash brown on the go, that would be incorrect. He was pulled over by the police and issued a $300 ticket for talking on his cell phone while driving.
Why don't we just take it from the top?
Steiber posited that what the policeman thought was a telephone was, you guessed it, a McDonald's hash brown. It sounds a bit ridiculous, but his phone records didn't show any calls at the time in question. To be fair, they are very similar in size and shape. In the end, Steiber was acquitted, but he was quoted as saying that he had kind of lost his affinity for hash browns. We can all learn a little something from this situation. 1, eating and driving can come back to bite you, pun intended. And 2, if you do decide to enjoy your hash browns while driving, be subtle about it. Order up more by staying right here. Just tap on our next great video. And show us some love by hitting that subscribe button and ringing that bell to join our notification squad so you never miss out.